support.
The maestro, please!
Last pop analysis of 2025. And to end things off for the year, we're going to be talking about Olivia Dean's Man I Need.
Olivia Dean.
Olivia Dean is a British singer-songwriter coming directly out of London, and with the release of her latest album, this is her first time on the charts at all.
Background.
Man I Need was originally released on August 15th of 2025. It charted the following month all the way at number 82. It continued to grow in popularity, and on November 22nd hit number 4, getting into the top 5, where it still sits at the end of the month. Besides the original version, there is a live version that she recorded at the Brooklyn Paramount on July 17th, 2025. That particular version isn't actually scheduled to be released until December 12th, but they did post the official video of it on October 20th. Man I Need is off of her second studio album, The Art of Loving, which was released September 26, 2025. It's actually the third of 4 singles that were released off of the album, the first 2 being
We could be nice to each other, wrong for each other.
And
That lady, she's the man. I think she got a master plan. It's something.
And then the most recent and 4th single is
'Cause I think it's so easy to fall in love.
Credits on this track besides Olivia Dean include Tobias Jesso Jr. and Zach Nahom. Tobias Jesso Jr. has a number of pop hits also coming out of the UK, such as
Slow hands, like sweat dripping down my dirty laundry, no.
and
I'm not here for long. Catch me or I go Houdini. I come and I go.
As for Zach Nahom, however, outside of Olivia Dean, this is their first pop hit. Man I Need is released jointly by Capitol and Polydor.
Form.
Man I Need is both a pop and soul song, is a little over 3 minutes long, D-flat major, 4/4 time given it has a swung feel to it, and 119 beats per minute. The song opens with an intro.
Talk to me, talk to me.
Before we get into the first verse proper,
Looks like we're making up for lost time.
followed by the first pre-chorus,
Already know I can leave it alone. You
first chorus,
tell me you got something to give. I want it.
and then first post-chorus.
Talk to me, be the man that I need, baby.
That then gives us a second verse,
But I can't tell with you sometimes.
second pre-chorus,
On your own, my mind.
second chorus,
Never the type of talk it is. Come on, man.
and second post-chorus.
Talk to me, be the man that I need.
Ultimately leading us to the outro of the song, which is also, well, the ending, obviously.
Keyboards.
I say keyboards because there's a variety of keyboards and pianos that are played, and they're all layered over each other, but they all essentially do the same thing. In the very beginning of the song, we have this D-flat add 9 over F and G-flat add 9 over F, given that only goes for 2 bars and is really isolated to the intro. And that's because once we get into the song proper, the chords voicing changes a little bit. We're now much lower, and they're a bit more fleshed out, given that 9th is now taken off the D-flat. So we just have a back and forth between D-flat major over F and G-flat major with an added 9th. It basically repeats that for the entire song minus the pre-chorus. We get a B-flat minor, then going to a D-flat major, an A-flat major over C, and then a G-flat major with this kind of added additional voicing before going to a D-flat major over G-flat, which it repeats. The only other keyboard figure that happens is actually during the post-chorus. As you can see, it's kind of the same chords, but it's a bit more of a higher voicing. Everything's a bit higher, and that G-flat 6 chord is now there instead of that G-flat add 9. Given in the following phrase, it does do the G-flat major add 9.
Bass.
The bass is actually pretty simplistic. In fact, the first time we hear it, it really is just repeating the bass note of the keyboards that we heard earlier, just going F to G flat. It then band begins to pick up a little bit though as the song goes on, doing these triplet figures first going up to that D flat and then again going up to that E flat. However, once we get back to the pre-chorus, it is again just doing the bass notes of the keyboard part, here going B flat, D flat, C, and then 2 bars of G flat. A few more things for added flavor though, like this lead-in triplet figure we have to the second verse, doing that G flat and then an octave higher, before going back just to F and G flat, but it still does hit that high G flat at the end.
Guitar.
Oddly enough, the electric guitar really just serves to add more to the texture. It doesn't really add anything harmonically or melodically. As you can see, it just hits that D flat a bunch of times on beats 2 and 4, given it has that slide at the end. During the pre-chorus, its role as solely a textural element really comes through. Obviously, we don't get anything from it for the first 2 bars, but then we go back to just getting those D flats. Near the end, though, we do get some plucking from it to at least add a little more flavor to it, but it really is just, again, doing D flat with the occasional A flat. We do get one more element in sort of the synth pad. It really just holds that G flat major chord, they emphasize that on beat 4 and then for the following bar though.
Verse.
So obviously once the vocals come in, we really hear that this is more of a swung kind of tune, opening up going back and forth between that B flat and E flat, before ultimately ending on that low A flat. But she does go a little bit higher in the following bar, getting to that F on the staff, before ending on that E flat.
Looks like we're making up for lost time. Need you to spell it out for me.
In the following phrase, she really continues that idea. We get a few more quarter notes, and now we even get to that F on the staff, and now we end on that D flat, as opposed to the E flat we ended on before.
Bossa Nova on all night. It's like a type of alchemy.
As the first verse continues, we start to get a bit more variation. Now she's starting higher on that F and E flat, but still hitting that occasional D flat, but then we get this slot right in line at the end that goes D flat all the way to A flat and then ending on E flat.
Introduce me to your best friend. I can come and slot right in.
But just like before, she takes those same figures and repeats them in the following phrase, minus some slight alterations due to changed words.
Satellite ain't even that far. I kinda wonder where you are.
The second verse, which is only half as long as the first, actually almost does the first thing that the first verse did in the very beginning.
I'd like to think you feel the same way, but I can't tell with you sometimes.
We do get a pretty big change here, especially on the word painting. On the word page, we have those 4-part harmonies, and she does have a little bit of more triplet figures thrown in, but we still end the same way that the first verse did on that D flat, A flat, E flat quarter note line at the end.
So baby, let's get on the same page. Stop making me read between the lines.
Pre-chorus.
The pre-chorus shows a little bit of change, more of these fluid lines, and even that high note on the B flat before dropping all the way to that A flat near the end, and we have more layered vocals in the middle, especially on the words leave it alone.
Already know I can leave it alone. You're on my mind.
The second phrase of the pre-chorus pretty much repeats that same idea, again some changed lines, and now we end on that D flat, and we actually don't hit that A flat at all like we did in the first phrase.
Already gave you the time and the place, so don't be shy.
Chorus.
With the lead into the chorus, we actually have the first instance of quarter note triplets before having these 4-part harmonies in I need and getting into the chorus proper. Here you get to see the playback between the triplets and the eighth notes, given since the eighth notes are actually swung, they all kind of sound in the same tripled meter. But we do get additional layers of vocals on certain lines, like here on I Want It.
Just come be the man I need. Tell me you got something to give. I want it. I kinda like it when you call me wonderful.
The second phrase repeats those ideas. We have the triplets and the eighth notes, the 3-part harmonies on Come On Then, and actually this phrase ends like the lead-in to the chorus started, with the Be the Man That I Need, all those triplet quarter notes.
Whatever the type of talk it is, come on then. I gotta know you're meant to be the man I need.
first chorus ends with this little 2-bar addendum with that talk to me on those quarter note triplets with that melisma the second time.
Talk to me, talk to me.
Given in the second chorus, she actually repeats that twice, making it a 4-bar addendum.
Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me.
Post-chorus.
So the post-chorus goes back and forth between those layered vocals we heard in the intro and then Olivia Dean just solo by herself. You'll see that everything is triplets though. Eighth notes, quarter notes, and the ties on the eighth note triplets actually give a lovely kind of syncopation to it.
Talk to me, be the man that I need, baby. Talk to me, be the man that I need.
You can see, though, the post-chorus is actually fairly repetitive. The only difference is at the very ending, where she repeats the word man as opposed to the word need.
Talk to me, be the man that I need, baby. Talk to me, be the man.
The second post-chorus is pretty much identical, minus one ad-lib line that Olivia Dean adds over all of that we talked about before.
Talk to me, be the man that I need, baby. Talk to me, be the man that I need.
And just like before, you can see that essentially repeats, except now we only have that one ad-lib line as opposed to two.
Talk to me, be the man that I need, baby. Talk to me, be the man.
Outro.
The outro doesn't actually have any lyrics, it's just Olivia Dean humming, but she starts off on that held D flat before going up to the F, doing this sort of up and down melismatic figure going to that low B flat, but then jumping back up to the D flat that she started on. In the second part of the outro and the last part of the song, she does repeat that idea for the most part, but we have this additional figure at the beginning, starting in that D flat, going back down to the A flat, and then coming up to the D flat, and then she basically repeats the same thing she did before, but now again we end on that low A flat. In the days of dominating figures like Taylor Swift or the K-pop Demon Hunters soundtrack, sometimes artists can kind of sneak through, like Olivia Dean. If you weren't following her before, she may have just kind of surprise popped up in the top 10, especially with her album The Art of Loving that's been doing pretty well. I think it's good to see that, though, despite this age of superstars and powerhouses, you can still get a song up pretty high in the charts, in the top 5 as a matter of fact. So if there's anything to learn from this for maybe some aspiring musicians, release your music.
Don't be shy, just come be the man I need. Tell me you got something to give, I want it. I kinda like it when you call me wonderful. Whatever the type of talk it is, come on then.
Not gonna lie, was a little worried I was gonna have to do another Christmas song. We already did Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You as an end-of-year special, but I saw Last Christmas getting up there, and I thought, boy, are we about to do a Wham pop analysis?
I gotta know you're meant to be the man I need. Talk to me, talk to me. Talk to me, be the man that I need, baby. Talk to me, be the man that I need. Talk to me,